Alrighty, y'all, so to start off, we're just gonna finish pounding boxes. I had my brother and his wife come out here, and when we were planning out stuff, they just put white marks on the wall like this everywhere where I'm gonna put a box. I mounted almost all of the boxes and switches, but there's definitely some left to do, and some unfinished plumbing because of some parts that I was short on. We have to finish tying this in down here to this washer drain thing. So we're gonna get to that today, and we are going to get to mounting the boxes for the halo ceiling lights. Let's get to it. I'll show you real quick. I got all these plugs done in here, in this little room. And yes, some might say that you don't need that many plugs, but I've yet to be in a house and living in it or working in it and be like, there's too many plugs in here. All my boxes at 12 inches, and I just use a little block cut down to the right measurement so the bottom of the box just sits right where I need it to be at 12 inches.
Alrighty, y'all, so I want to take a second and shout out the website. We got a bunch of honey back in stock. We have the 44-ounce cream honey that y'all have been anticipating and waiting for. We know that y'all really like that. That's back in stock over there. Also, we have brand new 2-pound honey jars. They are awesome. Go check them out. Also, all those amazing bulk 5-pound honeys are back in stock, so go check that out. Also, there is a fully brand new line of tallow products that is launched by Matt's wife. They're amazing. They're incredible. Y'all need to go check them out. Go up your skincare and get y'all some honey. Alrighty, back to the video.
So I want to tell y'all the great deal I got on these halo lights and how y'all can get a really good deal and save a lot of money if you're building a new house or you just need a lot of lights. So these are the halo canless lights. I've always used the same kind. They're the 6-inch round ones that are real thin with the metal boxes that come with them. Now, if you went and bought one of these at Home Depot, they cost about $14 and some change each, which isn't a bad deal. Actually, relatively cheap for LED lighting. These ones are really nice because they're wet room rated, so you can use them in all the bathrooms. They're dimmable, and they have different kelvins that you could set them to, so you can adjust the color of the light. Super awesome. They're also really bright, and they take barely any power. They're great. I love them. Here's the deal. I went to Home Depot to buy them because I needed about 100, and they were $14 each, and then they had the Pro Packs, which I think come with 10 in each one, and that made them $13 or $12 each, which I thought was a really good deal. Well, we real quick looked up on Amazon, and this is still the main brand, Halo, and if you buy them in these 24 Contractor packs, see, Contractor bulk packs, and I haven't seen these at any stores, 24 quantity, well, it made them $10 each, which is the best deal that I've ever found on them. So I just ordered these from Amazon, free shipping, free returns. They all came in. I mean, they're perfectly normal. They're not knockoff or anything. So if you want to save yourself some money, maybe you just need 20 lights, hey, get them from Amazon. Look it up, because $10 each is a lot cheaper than $14 each, and it adds up, especially when you're buying as many as I am. So here's all the lights that we needed. I think I have one more box coming, but maybe not. So I don't know if you can tell, but that's 6 boxes. Bam, 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 bam. And the only thing I learned about these boxes, these Contractor boxes, which are still made by Halo, they are different. They don't have the tabs on the sides, and they're set at 3000 Kelvin that you can't adjust them, which is fine, because that's what I usually set them to anyway. So they aren't exactly like the fully adjustable ones, but they are, I mean, they're just as good. So there they all are, mounted in place. I just screw them right inside the boxes like they're supposed to through the holes, and then we'll come back and do them later, you know. And This is the front room here. So there's 6 lights here, and this will be on its own circuit, so that could turn on. And then the kitchen will be on its own circuit, and then the living room and that little hallway thing will be on its own circuit. So now we could start with this. I'm gonna try to see what's the best way to get y'all angled, because this room is gigantic. So let me see if I can do it like this. I'm gonna have to go to town soon to get some more of these little, let me show y'all. These little insulator conductor things, grommets, that's what they call these, grommets. And these are like 5/8. These, let me show you a box out of these Halo boxes. So here's one of the electrical boxes, right? It opens up, let me see if I can do this one hand. There's the wires inside. Well, you knock out these little side punches. There's one on each side to run the wires through. And when you do that, you put one of these in. These hold the wires and they keep the wires from getting sliced on the metal. So, gotta use these. So, I don't have that many, but I'm gonna get started and then we can go get some more. Okay, let me show you these sections. Here's the front switch that I got installed. Right there, bang. Quadruple gang. And I put a 2x4. If it's ever really close to a door, always just throw in an extra 2x4. It only takes a second, and that spaces it out, so it won't interfere with your trim. So I'm gonna get started. There's 4 of these boxes. I'm gonna get the wires started, and I'll cut back to y'all real soon. Alrighty y'all, we are back in my house. It has been a while since I made a video inside my house. I think the last time I made a video, it was, well, it looked kind of the same as this, but none of the electrical or the plumbing was done in it. But anyway, wanted to make an update video because we are very, very, very close to getting done all of the electrical and all of the plumbing. The only thing left to do with the electrical is each corner of the house is going to have a light on it. I always wanted that because when it gets dark outside in the evening time or even at night when you have to go grab something from the car, it's really nice just to be able to switch a light on and not have to use your phone light, especially if you're like carrying groceries in or anything like that. So we have to run the wire for that, and then plugs on the outside of the house. All the plugs are done on the inside of the house. The one thing that I really disliked about Mom and Dad's house was that there's not enough plugs on the outside of the house. There's only like 3 plugs on the outside of their house. So on this house, I would like to have at least double that. But yeah, the house has really been shaping up. James has really been a big help. He's been helping me, Buddy's been helping. And if y'all are new to this whole entire process, you can go back and start watching from the beginning. But us boys started building my house a couple months ago, and now we're to this stage, which is kind of a little bit of the slower stage right now, because it's all the planning and prepping and trying to figure out, you know, where the refrigerator is going to go, and you know, what the layout of the bathrooms is going to be like, and just finalizing stuff because certain things change, you know, throughout the build. You know, that's the awesome thing about doing it yourself. You're not
left up to a contractor, you know, because it's just really hands-on, and if you want to change something, you can change it really easily, or maybe not so easily. But one of the big decisions we had to decide on was, are we going to run the plumbing underneath the house or in the ceiling? There's pros and cons to both, but to a lot of the newer homes nowadays, they run all of the plumbing in the ceilings. So that's what we decided to do. I talked to Dad about it, and he said, you know what, that's what they all do. And the only junction points is at the water breaker panel, as I call it, which is so awesome, so great. And then the outlet, you know, it'll go directly from there, one line, no elbows, no T's, no nothing, straight to, say, like the sink, you know. The really, really, really big pro to having all of the plumbing in the ceiling is this. 1 3/4 inch pipe coming from the main panel straight down into the floor here, and that will be hooked up to the main water supply to the house. Guess what? That means there's only one pipe to insulate, and it's only going to be a 3-foot section, and you can just insulate that bad boy really, really well. So anyway, that's really exciting. That's really, really, really cool. This is a pier and beam house done properly with poured footers, and all of the piers are core filled, so this thing is going to last a very, very long time. I really, really love having a pier and beam house because I very much dislike concrete, because at least in our area where we live, with the amount of water that we have, if you do not put your house at on a spot, like the perfect place on your property where there's just the perfect amount of drainage, or if you don't put in enough drainage, a lot of the slab houses around here have water problems. That's why I went with the pier and beam house, and the biggest reason why is because it is way cheaper, way, 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 way cheaper. It was going to cost thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to get this pad poured because the concrete prices are so high. Anyway, with all that said, keep going with the update. As y'all can see, we tried our hardest to keep our crazy spaghetti wire craziness here with all the electrical lines and everything as organized as possible. As you can see, they'll be just like big clusters, but you know, they're tied together and stapled together. We bought a Milwaukee stapler, which made our lives very, very easy. As y'all can see, just boom, staple them on there. So we have a spigot on this side of the house and a spigot on that side of the house. This is the back, that's the front. Eventually we will have a full back porch and a full front porch, eventually. And a very exciting thing that just got done is this. Just had an electrician come in and wire up the breaker panel, which is so awesome, so great. We were able to do everything else. He came in here and he was like, man, he's like, y'all really got it neat and tidy in here. He's like, I love it. So we got his approval for our electrical job, so that was pretty cool. But then he came in here and he was able to bring this all in to the panel. We bought all of the breakers here and then he hooked them all up. We have to make a couple adjustments here because we weren't very specific about the breakers that have the built-in GFI with them. We saw Doug from DIY Print use these, and we were like, that is a genius idea. Instead of installing GFIs near your kitchen sinks and your bathroom sinks, anywhere where water could get into the plug, those GFI outlets always go bad. Everyone knows that. They're trash. And now they have built-in GFIs into the breakers, which is so great. So these ones with the purple are built in. He hooked them up to like a couple different spots, like The master bedroom, we do not need a GFI on that. We actually would want that on the master. We want that on the master bathroom. We want one on like the family bathroom, the laundry room, you know. So we have 2 more of those. So we have to, you know, customize it a little bit, but the rest of it's all done here, all labeled. So that's really exciting, really awesome. And then it runs out here. Got the meter loop all set up outside. And that's the next thing that I have to start working on is we got the easement all signed, and we're going to be digging like over 1,000-foot trench to like the front of the property, and all buried electrical lines ran back here. I do not want any telephone poles at all. Lot of progress made on the old house. Maybe it doesn't look like it, but it's slow but sure, and it's getting there. All of the lights are done. If you see these yellow ribbons, that's where a light is going, and all the wires have been ran for that, and we have it. James and I were really able to have it sectioned off, so like if you want just this section in this bigger room, you can have just these on, or if you want just these lights in this little hallway area, you can have these ones on, or in the kitchen, or at the back door, or at the front part here of the front. Like you can turn those on, you know, and they'll all be dimmable. It'll just be really nice. One thing that really drives me nuts with houses is when they're underlit. So that's why I told James, I said, I'd rather have more lights, and if it's too bright, just turn the lights off. So it's just about going to be the perfect time, because it is starting to get toasty here in Texas. It's I think this Sunday it's going to be getting up to like 87 or so. Glorious weather, beautiful weather. And but we're going to be, as soon as we get the rest of the electrical done and the little last bit of plumbing done, we are going to be calling out the spray foam guys and getting this whole entire place spray foamed. Also, before we get everything spray foamed, we are going to be running a pressure test on the whole entire system, make sure there's no leaks, and keep the system pressurized for a couple days and just monitor it and just make sure there's no air leaks. So pressurizing a water system with air can seep through places that water cannot. So the pressure test will not lie. So that's our plans with that. And I think I pretty much went over everything here. It's been really exciting. I don't know. I just really, really love the place. It's definitely growing on me, and it's gonna be so exciting.
I am working on doing these little copper PEX A stub outs. So I put them in, if you can see, like this is like the back side of the powder room vanity. So over here we're gonna have a coffee bar. So I put in a drain with a Studer vent, and then I'm just getting these stubbed out.
Yep.
And prepped, ready for a pressure test.
Cool.
So I'm gonna be putting some on this side.
Yeah.
And running them up and teeing them into here so that they can run on the same ones.
So that is a little sneak peek, I guess. I haven't really told y'all the whole layout of the house yet, but as you did hear James say, this is going to be a dedicated coffee/tea bar. So that's gonna be really nice. There's gonna be a little sink in here and just its own little dedicated spot, so then we don't have to take up a room with like the coffee maker and all the coffee products or the little tea products and stuff like that on the kitchen countertop. That will have its own countertop, its own space, its own little nook right here. And we needed to put something here to kind of use up this wall. So we'll have that here, and then also just a little sneak peek, a little nugget is this wall on this side is going to be our library wall, which is super exciting. And that's why we have these 2 outlets up here, and that will be for lighting of the library wall. And it's gonna be really exciting and very, very nice. So we'll have a couple plugs on the top of the coffee bar here. And then, yeah, it's just gonna be really, really nice. And then what y'all were seeing me do was clean up all of the trash. And now all that's left to do is sweep up all of the chips from drilling all of the holes. Got the big old chunky wire ran for the oven. We got the wire for the hot water heater ran here. We got the dryer wire ran. I absolutely love how they're now color coordinating the wire nowadays. So dryer wire is pink, hot water heater wire is orange like this, and then the stove wire is black, of course. It's just that super thick wire. This roll of wire cost me $300, and that is not cheap at all. And then I did something very silly, and I drilled a hole. I drilled a hole right through there, right? And I put a big old nick in this wire, and it was a blessing from the Lord. But we left a bunch of extra wire up here, up in like that loft area. So we were able to take off all of these staples and pull like an extra 3 foot down, 3 more foot of wire. But yeah, that kind of made my stomach sink, because it was like, I thought I was gonna have to buy another roll of $300 wire. So that was very stressful. But you know, it's all that type of stuff that you learn while you're doing it, you know? Other thing that we learned is don't put your outlets for your kitchen countertop at 48 inches. I don't know why we did that. I don't know why. Because of course the countertop, a kitchen countertop, is 36 inches, and you would not want your outlets to be halfway up your wall. That would just kind of be weird. So little things like that, but you know, you just do it and you learn, and you'll know next time that you don't put your outlets at 48 inches. So